Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Well, boys,
Disgraceful.
we've won 5 in a row. Pacers are back in the playoffs. Blue Collar Gold Swaggers back in Indiana. Indiana Pacers, 7th seed. How do you guys feel? How are you guys feeling right now?
Playoffs.
Playoffs? Or should we have the lottery pick?
Okay. No, come on.
playoffs.
now.
Playoffs.
I got to bring out everybody's point of view on here.
Playoffs.
Playoffs, of course.
Playoffs are here.
How we doing? How we doing, guys? My name is Alex, by the way,
My name's Ross.
And my name is Zach.
and we're the Corner 3 Show, and we're back. We left you a week ago at Sun King Brewery in Fishers with Dave from the Miller Time Pod. It was desperate times. I think the Pacers were ninth in the conference standings at that point. It was Lance's first home game back.
Yep.
Started the 5-game winning streak. Much different attitude then, but the Lance effect, as Twitter has taken a hold of, is on full display.
It's exactly like Dave said when we were talking to him about Lance coming back. He's brought back joy to basketball. I mean, basketball's supposed to be entertainment. We're supposed to enjoy watching the games. We went to the Timberwolves game, and it was very just depressing to sit there.
Yeah.
But now watching Lance play, watching the whole team play, it's like a different product for sure. I mean, they look like they're trying. They look like they care. Like the Teague getting fired up and Lance doing Lance things, and it's good. It's good to
We'll
have
see
that
how
back.
it goes. I mean, we still got the Cavs coming up, and
But
I love seeing
come on.
Lance back.
Yeah.
Because it makes it fun again. Like we were having a discussion on this one when we saw that he was signed. It was like, oh my goodness, we're having a conversation on our Pacers Talk text group here. You know, our message. We care again. Like what's going on here? Because it's Lance. He makes it fun. So it's good to have him back.
It's crazy that one player is doing that for the team, right?
Well, I mean, it's like it's just the crazy energy guy. I mean, teams need it. It's a long season, and I mean, there was no one else on the team. There wasn't like a get in your face spark type of guy on that team. There always usually is on a team. I mean, even bad teams or even guys who aren't good can sometimes be that. Like I remember Reggie Evans for those Nets teams and different teams he would be on, just a guy to fire guys up. And then Lance also has a lot of talent, and it's obvious that Indiana is where he plays his best basketball.
I mean, if Aaron Brooks has to be your team leader and hold the players only meetings, like lead them, you don't have a vocal guy in the locker room to get that real fired up.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Lance is just, I mean, he's just a different cat.
So many things to give you another ball handler, another playmaker. I like how they've been playing him with the second unit as the ball handler and putting Brooks as a
Off the
spot-up
ball.
shooter, which is where he excels more.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's super exciting to watch.
It is an interesting team, interesting things. So they've won 5 in a row. They beat Toronto, they beat Milwaukee, they beat Orlando, they beat Philly, and then they secured their spot in the playoffs because Miami and Chicago actually started to win those last few games there. So it was a must-win for the Pacers on Wednesday night with Chicago playing the Nets, Miami playing the Wizards. But Atlanta rested all of their guys. The Pacers obviously looked tense. It was one of those nights where you just, you knew you were going to win, but you just had to just make the plays and execute because you didn't want to let a team like that with nothing to lose hang around. I mean, they had nothing to play for, but they're young guys. They've got 2 rookies starting. They want to play well.
Mm-hmm. Ross, were you nervous?
Yes, actually.
Really?
First quarter, it was close. Second quarter, they pulled away a little bit, but then they never put it away. They had the lead the whole time. I think the lowest it got in the third was 9 points, 7 points, something like that. But after being 15, when it shrunk down to that,
9,
and Delaney, whoever that is scoring on you,
Delaney,
and Bembry. There's a bunch of players I'm looking up like, where? I've heard him. I don't even know Delaney. Who's Delaney?
Ryan Kelly,
Man
baby.
Bun. Ryan Kelly. Mike Muscala's Man Bun.
Muscala. He killed us. He killed us in a lot of ways.
Oh, and Ersan Ilyasovas driving and dunking on people. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Don't lose to this B team.
So let's just talk in general. I mean, Lance,
talk about the week.
Lance obviously brings, a spark. He gets in guys' faces. He's intense. He just makes the game more fun. But other than Lance, I mean, we can get to Lance in a second and what he actually does on the court, not just, his intangibles, but what do you guys think is working right now? I mean, is there anything that you've seen on the court or something Nate's doing? I mean, I think PG's obviously stepped to another level. So I think kind of that argument early in the year that he's always been playing this well. I mean, he's been playing well, but this is obviously another level. You can't deny that he's turned it up a notch.
Yeah. Is he gunning for that All-NBA?
This is All-NBA PG.
That was an extra $40 million I think he can get for
They've
that.
been saying up to 70-something
Really?
in total, yeah.
You know,
That's
I
what
think
Simmons was saying.
I think the difference is it's just energy. Obviously, Paul George has stepped his game up since the All-Star break, but especially since Lance has come back. But Lance coming back, and these guys, I don't know, it's giving them a kick in the butt. It seems like guys have more energy, come off the bench, they're showing some emotion.
Yeah.
You know, I think our bench unit has been playing a lot better now. Obviously, now that we have a playmaker in there, a guy who's going to pass the ball, find the open man.
Yeah.
You know, maybe this is something we were missing all along. You know, but it's good to see this. It's 5 in a row. It got us in the playoffs with a 7 seed. You know, a couple of those games are easy games you should win. These are games that you should have won all year.
Yeah.
You know, we wouldn't even be in this position.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, a playmaker on the second unit is really what helps. That's what we thought Monte could be for the Pacers, but didn't really turn out to be. Lance has made Seraphin better. That game against the Hawks, they had this little pick and roll they ran like 3 or 4 times, and they had it every time. It's like their little off-court chemistry is really going onto the court with that play. Les Lavoie is getting played. I know there's not a whole lot of Lavoie love on this team, but it seemed to last couple games be what the Pacers needed.
Yeah, I think he actually should have played more against, or he didn't play at all against the Hawks. I thought he should have played against the Hawks, especially with, I mean, how bad Miles Turner and Seraphin were getting beat off the dribble.
Yeah,
Hawks didn't have a true big in that game. They had a bunch of stretch 4s and stretch 5s, and I was really surprised Nate didn't at some point just pull Miles for a little bit.
But
just
Christmas, put somebody with some
just somebody,
quick feet.
because I mean, I'm sorry, Miles does not have any lateral quick speed. If you get him on a shot fake, he's going by you. And Ilyasova is a good player. I was going back and forth between the ESPN broadcast and the Pacers broadcast.
How could you?
And Hubie Brown was talking about, you know, just how, I mean, Ilyasova is really underrated, and Quinn was talking about that too.
He's just been on so many teams.
He's just been on so many teams. But I think an interesting point you guys just talked about is Lance as a playmaker. We usually think of playmaker as just maybe a scorer, but I mean Lance, he moves the ball. I mean he loves to pass.
It looks like he looks to pass first.
Yeah, and like Brooks is a score first point guard. Stuckey was score first. Monte Ellis is just he shoots first. I don't know if he scores first. But Lance is like, he's a playmaker. He's going to make a play. I mean, just think about that pass he had to Seraphin, that wraparound pass. Seraphin misses the layup.
Hit him in the chest. He wasn't
he's still
ready
in the
for it.
play.
Yeah.
Like, he's still in the play. He doesn't give up on a play. I think that's huge, especially when, you know, your offense isn't working. You need a guy just to find a way to get a bucket.
Yeah, and you see the difference because when you have, when you had Stuckey or Ellis coming off the bench, running the point, or even at the 2, bringing it up the court, those guys aren't looking to drive and dish. They're looking for their own shot, maybe get some contact. You know, you see the difference with Lance is driving. He'll do his dribbling for a little bit here and there, but he's driving, but he's looking for the man. That's how you see these open 3-pointers in the corners, because he's getting those guys to come in on him, and he dishes out to CJ and Miles for an open 3 or something. And that's the difference that there is between him and Stuckey coming off. Is no offense to Stuckey, but Stuckey, like you said, is a score-first guard. He's not looking for that extra guy.
Yeah, especially on a team where you've got, I mean, Al's been out. He played only 1 game before, again, going out with his ankle injury. But, I mean, Al's a guy, when he gets in the post, he's gonna make his move and take a shot. You don't have a lot of guys who really are going to move the ball. I mean, when you pass it to CJ, you're really looking for him to take a shot.
Yeah.
So in that second unit, when you pass the ball up, you're probably not going to get it back. But with Lance, he's going to move the ball. He's going to try to get you a shot. I mean, I think him with that second unit is huge. But what's interesting, I think he plays much better with Brooks than he does with Teague, because with Brooks, Lance is going to get you an open shot. Brooks is going to take the open shot. Teague hesitates too much. Yep. And then you saw in that second half, I think I was on the Pacers, I don't know which broadcast I was on, but they were talking about how Teague obviously was, you know, you could just tell they were talking to him in the locker room, like, you got to be more aggressive. I mean, he hurts the team when he doesn't take an open 3, because he hits open 3s, but you hurt the team when you pass up a bad shot, because then the defense, you know, doesn't have to play you as tightly. The court becomes more clogged up. It's harder for Lance to get in the paint. It's harder for PG to get in the paint. So I think T needs to hit those shots, but that's why Brooks, that weird lineup with Lance, Brooks, CJ, PG,
Seraphin.
and then Seraphin.
That's why those
oddly works.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. I love when Lance plays with CJ, Brooks, and Seraphin, and then PG too. That group seems to really know where each other is at, where they need the ball.
Who would think that would be the
That's
lineup
a weird
in the beginning
lineup.
of the year?
All
that,
year
like,
we've been wanting Brooks gone, but he's great off the ball as a shooter from 30 feet, which he likes to pull,
And
but
he's
he can hit
pesky.
it. So
He's
okay.
pesky. I mean,
He dove on the floor in the Hawks game. Like
I
he's
know.
trying to-
Everyone's like, "Oh man, he's got heart. He dove on the floor."
Well, I don't say that, but like at least he cares
Like,
again.
and he had like 30. He had maybe a 20% chance of getting that ball.
Yeah,
Like
it
it was
wasn't.
already out of bounds, but like
He just made it look like he tried.
It looks good when they have the half court camera.
Toughness.
Toughness.
Brooks. We should talk about that Toronto game. So the Lance layup at the end. I mean,
Okay.
we didn't really get to
We
talk
can
about
talk about this.
on our
Let's
show
talk
because
about
it
this.
happened while we're at Sun King, and everyone else has already talked. I mean, it's
It's-
in the
yeah,
past,
it's in the
but
past,
it's
but
an interesting topic. I think.
Okay, he should have never done it. He knows that. But
but
like on there, like first of all, the fact he got technical doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's stupid.
He didn't do anything.
he just walked back and they like sandwiched him.
He
and
didn't
got in
do.
his
I mean,
face.
he literally didn't do it. I mean, with Lance Stevenson, he always does something. He didn't even do. He didn't do squat. But of course, he shouldn't have done it. I mean, and then Lance posts a video of them doing it earlier in the year. It's just so stupid. I mean, who cares? But like for them to give him a technical, that's my only problem with it. Like, I don't care that they got mad and got in Lance's face. Like they should. But like, I don't care they did it themselves. But the fact that they gave Lance a technical, it's just stupid because he could have reacted much worse. You know, I mean, he could have actually reacted. He just put his head down. I don't know. I just thought it was
agree?
stupid.
I don't think he should have done it. I don't agree with the Raptors going after him. I think that's a little stupid and childish of them, overreacting over a layup at the end of the game
Yeah.
and acting like they're going to do something about it.
It's
you know?
Tucker, though. I mean, that dude is crazy.
Yeah, to me, the biggest things on that was Tucker getting so fired up. He was at the Pacers bench yelling, like,
Yeah.
"Would you calm down?"
He's a crazy
And then
guy.
him saying after the game, like, we who is he really? We know he's always like this. And then the one beat writer for the Raptors, like, our guys are upstanding. They would never do something like this. And everyone went, last year, Norman Powell did the same thing.
Yeah, here's
Yeah.
a video clip.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those.
It's funny. It's just
Yeah.
that's one side that Lance brings, blowing LeBron's ear, do these little things. I kind of wanted to play the Raptors.
He's a pest.
Just to see what would happen.
He's a pest, but in such a good way. But I mean, you can tell. It's kind of like, I don't want to say his coaching equivalent is Thibodeau, but if you think about it, like he kind of can wear you down. Like he's gonna be like your favorite coach, like your favorite teammate. But after time, like, getting on you, like obviously Thibodeau and Lance are completely different in their mannerisms and everything. But I mean, Tibbs has been known to just in Chicago, he just like wore his players down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because it was like the same thing every day. And you can imagine if you have a run-in with Lance, like going into practice to deal with that every single day could just be agonizing. Right?
So do you think the Lance effect will wear off? Like
In the
coming up in the
playoffs, or-
playoffs here where guys will get tired of his antics?
Oh, not in the playoffs. It's still
Or
fresh.
next year with Lance running, will we hit a point where, I don't get
Depends
tired
on,
of
well,
it?
that's all based off what the roster is going to look like after the
That's
offseason.
true. Yeah, the roster will be so different.
That's
it
kind of
won't
like
really
a
matter.
first take, discussion starter with
because-
Stephen A. I mean, I understand, but like, it's on Lance, it's on PG as the team's leader to make it work. I mean, you just have to.
PG seems to really want it to work. He was like
Yeah.
the first one in that scrum to get Lance out of there, and that's his dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lance said in the Indy Star, to someone, he said, "Oh, we're making sure."
Do you read about
PG,
the time to a chair, and we're gonna?
Yeah, like we know
my
we're gonna keep PG here.
Everyone's like, "Oh,
They're
we
gonna
love
pull
you,
out
Lance."
They're going to pull DeAndre Jordan on him.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Lock him in the house.
I don't know.
Change your mind. Change your mind.
So here they are. The Pacers are the 7th seed. They play Saturday in the first playoff game. They got yesterday off, so today a bunch of film, a bunch of just walkthrough. I'm surprised they didn't practice at all yesterday, just because they only had 2 days until Cleveland. But anyways, the Cleveland Cavaliers, world champs, but a team that's struggling of late. They haven't found their rhythm at all. They gave up on the 1 seed. They didn't play their star players. Against the who they play. I forgot who they played.
Raptors.
Against the Raptors. So they just gave up on the 1 seed. They didn't care.
They went to overtime, though, didn't they?
Against the Raptors? I don't think so. I think they just gave it up. I don't know.
That was at the Heat. Was that the Heat game? One of the two where the teams were sitting, their bench guys actually kept them in. I can't remember.
But regardless, the Cavaliers are struggling right now. But that's not – they have LeBron James, the best player in the NBA, so it doesn't really matter. And they have Kyrie, a top 15 player.
Yeah. The question that everyone keeps asking is, will the Cavs do the normal Cavs thing, flip a switch, be playoff Cavs that we'll see, but or are we going to see what we've seen the last 5 games, last month, where they've been 22nd in defensive efficiency, but still really good offensively, but can't win games? Which Cavs are we going to see, Zach?
I think we're gonna get the playoff games.
I know,
honestly.
me too.
I think they're 10-16 or 10-14, something like that, in their last 26 some games.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen in the playoffs. I just think LeBron James takes over. He just gets his guys into it, and Kyrie Irving is just gonna. I feel like, no offense to FT, I feel like he's going to kill us on that.
Well, I think it's gonna fall somewhere in the middle. I don't think they're just gonna turn on the switch. I think the Pacers. I think at worst, the Pacers are still gonna win 2 games. I honestly believe that. I think that it takes some time for the Cavs. I mean, you've seen it every year with LeBron and the Cavs, and I think only 1 year with the Heat, maybe 2, is when he swept. I remember they swept the Sixers 1 year.
LeBron has never lost in the first round, but he's like something and 3 in the first round, so he's lost.
He's lost a few games, but I mean, this team is different than the others because this is the worst little stretch they've had going into the playoffs. Even the year when the Pacers got the 1 seed, the Heat they really did heat up towards the end of the season. Not to sound ridiculously punny, but they did heat up towards the end of the season. They were playing well. But I think with this Cavs team, just like we saw last year, it's going to take some time if they do beat the Pacers to get to the point of being able to contend with Golden State, because Golden State, I just believe, is on a different level right now with all the talent they have and the depth. I mean, for Pete's sake, the Cavaliers just waived DeAndre Liggins for Tavares, the Raptors' 7'3" project. So
he's D-League forever.
I mean, they just signed Dante Jones as well. So like they're searching for like little pieces here at the very end of the year.
They remind me a lot of the year we were the number 1 seed. Because
kind of falling apart
at the end of the year. You're picking up players towards the end, like Bogut, or not Bogut, but Bynum, and you're getting Evan Turner, all those guys. And then your last 30 games of the year, Pacers fall off, and then somehow they
kind of salvaged the rest of their season.
But then once you got in the playoffs, it was still ugly. It was sloppy.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that year, but
I can agree there.
The difference there is you have LeBron James, and I just think he can propel them past that point.
Yeah,
I agree. It's nice it's on ABC.
Yeah,
I mean,
they get some primetime games, but oddly enough, I think we match up better with the Cavs because just like, first of all, just like macho. I mean, Jeff Teague is not the same player as Kyrie Irving, but I mean, he can slash, he can shoot the 3. I'm not that scared of J.R. Smith. Hopefully, Glenn Robinson can come back. We can talk about the minutes there when he comes back. PG and LeBron, they're both going to play really well, obviously. Thad Young can matches up really well with Kevin Love, I think. And Miles Turner, isn't going to get beat off the dribble by Thompson. He's not that type of player. They kind of match up well. Better than Boston, who shoots a ton of threes, and we know the Pacers can't guard the 3.
Who's starting? Is it Ellis or Stevenson?
It's Ellis.
I mean,
he's going to start.
Keep Lance off the
I'm
bench.
sure they'll keep Ellis unless Glenn Robinson's back.
If Glenn comes back, Monte Ellis does not need to play.
Everyone, Pacers Twitter has been saying, please put Monte on the bench if Glenn's healthy.
What's the status of him and Jefferson? Does anyone know?
Jefferson will be back probably before Glenn, but I think it's still. I think Glenn won't. I think by a week from now he should play in Game 3. I mean, from everything that I've heard, Game 3 is definitely in play. Maybe Game 2. I doubt he'd play Saturday. But I definitely think that Glenn matching up against J.R. Smith and then chasing Kyle Korver around, you want him 10 times out of 10 more than Monte because just think about the game we lost to the Cavs. J.R. Smith hits that 3 because Monte gets screened in the corner.
Watching that Hawks game, I know you were tweeting from the account. He gets lost on defense so much. If a guy drives and it's not his man, he'll follow that guy in, leaving his guy open for 3 over in the corner.
Every single game.
Every time.
He's a ball watcher. That's what they say.
And with
in
the
basketball.
Cavs, with Korver and JR, you're going to get burned all day if that keeps happening.
So, but again, matchup-wise, I think, we played them tight. They played one of their best games of the year against us. They were completely healthy.
That was a good game.
That was a great game. and still, we had Glenn out. We had Al Jefferson out, who I think against their bench units, I take him against the Tavares guy or whoever they want to step against.
He's been in the D-League. He was in the D-League when I was
when Ross was in the D-League.
When
Ross was in the D-League for years. Never got anywhere.
Exactly.
He was there when I was there.
That's how long ago it was.
No, I actually thought Liggins would be a help because he's like a 6'9" wing, pesky defender. He started like 25 games for them. I don't know.
Did the Pacers steal one in Cleveland? I think they take Game 1. my gut feeling.
Oh wow, game
Like
one.
they have in the past, and then Cleveland will take one in Indy, and that'll probably start to
Yeah.
seal the fate. But
I can
what do
see
you
them
think?
taking game one.
Are we just picking the first game, or are we going through all the whole
Oh, I'm just thinking.
series?
Do you think we?
Yeah, do you think
Get
we
one
still
in
won in Cleveland?
I don't think we still win.
No.
Really? I think we still won in Cleveland. I don't know if it's game one or game two, but they make adjustments, and I think PG is bound for like a 40-point game, and then I think CJ is bound for a good game. And I wouldn't be surprised if T goes off as well, because if they can throw him in at all with, some of the second unit against some of Cleveland's second unit, I think he could have a big scoring game. I think he has to. I think he has to draw as much attention away from PG and Lance as possible.
And Paul's pumped about it. You saw his after-game interview.
He wanted that.
He's like, "This is what I wanted." And they're like, "What do you think? You're on primetime. You're on ABC." That's nice. But yeah, he wants to play LeBron, and that gets him fired up. That overtime game, they each had 40-plus near triple-doubles. So if they both can just do that, and then it's the rest of the
Seems
cast.
like he always steps his game up against LeBron.
Yeah.
I honestly don't really remember a game where he was terrible against
LeBron?
James.
At least, he shows up.
It brings out the best. The best show up when the lights are on. And, this is about as big of a game as you can. It's the first playoff game, 3 p.m. on Saturday. And it's nice, they don't have to travel far. They don't have to go to Boston or, Toronto. It's just, short flight. I'm cautiously optimistic about this.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be realistic here and think, it's the world champions, it's LeBron, but other than the Warriors and the Spurs just because of Pop and Leonard, there isn't a team that scares me right now.
Yeah.
Boston's struggling too. They're the 1 seed, but they're struggling. Toronto, we just beat them by 18. With 16, not including Lance's layup.
It's hard to pick on this because the Pacers have been so inconsistent this year that.
But now they have a 5-game win streak, and is that real, or is that the end of the season and everyone's resting, or are they just fired up to make the playoffs? Yeah,
I think you have to look at the landscape of the East right now and say, I think any of these teams, we'll talk about this in our NBA show, but I don't think there's a series in there that I'm 100% confident with.
There's no clear-cut favorite.
And that kind of goes. I had a conversation with somebody this week talking about the Pacers in the playoffs, and they were asking us about the chances against who would you rather have, Boston or Cleveland. But my point to them was, obviously I think the Cavs are going to win the series, but if you think about it, the East, we're the 7th seed, could have been the 8th seed. And we're down on ourselves playing with these two teams. Well, at least I am. You guys feel reasonably confident. But just think of this. We were only a couple games we should have won, win or lose, and we're in the 4th or 5th spot. By those 4 or 5 games we should have won. Mm-hmm. And then we're in a different position. If we're the number 5 seed, we're like, oh, yeah, we can take this first-round team. And I definitely think we can beat Boston in the second round.
Yeah.
The inconsistency throughout the year just has led me to be, depressed about it. But if you think about it that way, then you can have optimism because you're like, oh, we were only 4 games off of really being, a 5th seed.
That's a good point. The difference in wins between the number 1 seed Celtics and the 8 seed Bulls was like 12. So if the Pacers won a handful of games more, they're right in the middle. They're a 4 or a 3.
Yeah.
It's not like the Pacers are playing a 66-win team Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
The only reason I'm this optimistic is just because I think there's so many teams that have been so average here late. And I think how you play late carries into the season. Pacers have won 5 games in a row. They haven't played perfect in any imagination, but I just think that they match up well against. They match up as well as you can against Cleveland, and I don't know. I'm optimistic here.
I'm really feeling the
300 to 1. Pacers for NBA champions, by the way.
Is that really what it is?
300 to 1.
It's not the greatest. I don't think the NBA champion will be.
For better, it might be.
That's true. If you, never mind.
Put down $100. That's all you have to do.
That's all you have to do.
Play it safe. I don't think the eventual NBA champion will come from the East. The way these East teams have been playing. We'll see in the second round and once we get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but
I think you're going to see some long series in the East.
Yeah.
I really do. I think
no sweeps.
No, definitely
not. No, I think the
I don't
Bulls
think
can sneak one
I don't
out,
think
too.
there'll be any sweeps there. I was listening to Simmons' podcast, and he's super scared about the Bulls, making a run.
It's on TNT. It's not a Thursday though. But that's later.
We'll get to that later. Let's get to our fan questions, though. Stay patient.
We can do that. We'll go to the second one first because it kind of ties in what we were just talking about. So we had Andrew W. It didn't have his last name on there. Should we even care that we've made the playoffs? Wouldn't a lottery pick have been better?
Well, I think if you can make the playoffs, make the playoffs. If you read Nate Taylor's article today with his interview about Herb Simon, The Pacers also need the playoffs to, finish with a profit for the year. There's a business side of this that's huge too. There's a recruiting side to it with free agents with Paul George. If you don't make the playoffs this year, what's your recruiting pitch to a free agent, especially given the high expectations that there was this year? That you're the missing piece. I mean, this is big for them. It's big for Paul, obviously. I mean, Paul wants to play. Right now, your focus has to be on Paul George. So.
He has never missed the playoffs besides the year he broke his leg. So that would have been a big thing.
Yeah.
Do you think we should have?
22 out of 28 years, Pacers have been in the playoffs. That's remarkable.
Would a lottery pick have been better?
It depends on the spot for the lottery pick.
That's what I think the biggest thing is. If the Pacers had just missed the playoffs, it would have been the 14th, 15th pick.
Yeah, it's not worth it then.
And now that they make it, if they lose now, it's the 15, 16 pick. It's like that. 2 spots isn't that big of a deal. If it's
and the
5
Pacers have the worst
or more,
luck in the lottery of all time.
a 1%
Larry Bird
chance
just sitting there just like,
to a 2% chance.
Why am I here?
why am I here? Every year when he did it, or when Granger did it.
So I agree. I mean, I know I had a different opinion on this last week when we were at Sun King.
Because we're so depressed.
Well, I mean, plus that was 5 or 6 games ago. We could have, if we lost all 5 games in a row, then we could have
That's true.
been possibly like a 11 seed or something. But yeah, now that we're in this position and you're only going to move up 2 spots from 16 to 14, I'd rather be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I agree. It's funner to go to playoff games too. Anyway,
Well,
as
it's
a fan
fun to
here,
go playoff games. You're getting
Funner's not a word.
the
More
Miles
fun.
Turner some experience. I almost said young team, but we're not that young. But
I mean, Paul George wants to play. He's your number one priority right now to keep this franchise, afloat for playoff contention for the next, hopefully 10 more years. So I think you have to go for it. There's no reason to tank right now. There's too much invested in this team in these next few years. It doesn't make any sense.
no. Moving on to the next fan question. I think this is the first time we've mentioned his tweets from Evan Smith.
he sent this in like a month and a half ago,
Yeah,
but we haven't
he
got
sent
to it.
us
I'm
in, but
sorry.
he
I
always
don't
sends
really
them in
like him
kinda
that
late.
much.
Evan always sends them in
Evan-
kind of late. So he was wanting to know, since the Hickory jerseys are done, what will be the jersey next year?
You mean what's the little? I don't know what you call it. The little shtick.
Promotional.
Like a
Yeah,
retro
promotional.
alternate jersey.
My guess is there won't be any because next year we'll have new jerseys overall. So
Yeah.
why would you spend your time with this other jersey you want people to buy? You want them to buy your new main jersey is what I think.
Well,
next
I
year.
think there might be. So we're going to have our home and away. Like right now we have our white and our blue. And
Whatever
then like
the
our
alternate-
special jersey is like our yellow jersey.
Banana
That's like
suits.
our big game jersey. We wear our yellow jerseys. So I assume, I don't know if it'll be yellow again. I think it probably will.
whatever the alternate will be the.
Like a yellow. Will
I'm
be like
so
the
ready for
special
new
one.
uniforms. It's not
I
funny.
know.
They're the
I
oldest,
agree.
they're the longest team without new uniforms, right? Other than like the Celtics and like the Bulls.
Hey, see, Timberwolves just did a new logo
Spurs.
again, and like
Yeah.
this is their third in like 10
It's
years.
like their old logo with
the wolf, and it's got a little neon.
I kind of like it. It's okay.
I like it. It's got more of like a neon
Yeah.
colors to
At
it.
the Hawks game, they showed all the old jerseys and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I'm really leaning towards the old ABA, like the swoosh where it ties in the shorts. I don't know. I think that would look kind of cool. Something along those lines. Go.
I would like a
something
mix
unique.
of like the stripes with the FloJo. So if you
Yeah.
could somehow mix those two together and make it look decent.
Just something unique. I mean, right now it's just,
don't-
a
just
solid
don't go-
color and says Indiana, like
Don't go Brooklyn Nets on me. Just don't make it super simple.
black and white. Yeah.
No,
and
don't
the
do that
circle
to me.
logo.
Because I mean, what we have now is kind of pretty much, it's pretty simple. I mean, if you look at it.
I don't know. I mean, you can't really add like stars, but you could do some stripes. But it'll be hard without Adidas
I don't think
anymore.
we'll be disappointed. I think Nike will do a good job.
Yeah.
I think there'll be some really cool uniforms next year. And I'm glad Nike's taking it over because, I mean, Adidas was just, hanging on to this T-shirt jersey
Oh, I hate
thing
the
for
t-shirt.
so long.
I love Adidas apparel, like this. I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, the jerseys Adidas.
I mean, they were just trying really hard to find something that would stick.
The
and-
Magic D-League
and
jerseys. Ugh.
And I'm kind of over it. I'm glad Nike's taking it over.
Because look what Nike did for the NFL.
Yeah.
The Seahawks uniforms got switched with Nike, and now
They look awesome. Even the Colts. I mean, they have like the different like stitching, so it's like different colors, different areas. You can like see when a guy sweats because like the blue part gets darker in the back.
How
But I
long
mean,
has Adidas had the contract? Was it
with
5?
NBA? I don't know.
been a while.
Well, more than 5 years because I don't know because it was a Reebok and then it was Nike.
Yeah, I remember the Reebok. Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like they've had it since
a
we
while.
had those jerseys we have now.
I think that makes sense. Actually,
That was Jermaine O'Neal wore those.
It's
I think
got to
it's
be at
last
least
year.
10 years, I think.
Boy, it was right after the brawl when they changed everything and
It's probably
got
10
rid of the
years.
pinstripes. Or right before the brawl.
They probably signed like a 10. I don't know. We can look it up. But I could be way off. But it feels like when you get a big contract like that, corporate, you go like you can do like a 10-year.
So the deal with Nike is 8 years, roughly $1 billion. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
But I mean, Nike will probably make 10 times more than that. Adidas began an 11-year deal with the NBA in 2006, taking over
11
Reebok because Adidas bought Reebok and they took it over and made it Adidas.
Huh.
So there you go.
It's a long
And
time.
the Nike logo will appear on the jerseys. So Nike will basically just, I mean, they already have a monopoly on like NBA players for the most part, other than like Harden, Lillard, and Rose, and that's it. Because no one
Curry.
wears the Curry shoes, even his new ones.
I haven't. I've heard they're crap. What are they? Is it Curry?
What are they
3?
doing at Under Armour? Like, I know their stock is like down 40% in the past like 3
I'm
months,
Googling it.
but geez, OP. But here, I don't think we gave our pick for the series. So, Zach, let's go with the pessimistic viewpoint first.
I got the Cavs in 5.
Cavs.
Ooh,
5.
come on, man.
Ross, let's hear it.
It's Cavs in 6.
This is
or
our Pacers
7.
pod, so you can be totally biased.
It's a 7-game series.
Yeah.
Cavs in 7.
Pacers in 6.
There
We're
we
all-
go. All different.
Pacers in 6.
Goosebumps.
Oh my goodness.
Goosebumps. Hey, Jeremiah Johnson, if you're listening to this, did you get goosebumps too? Pacers in 6.
Oh yeah, Jeremiah!
Boom.
Shout out to your son Preston. I was listening to your podcast this morning. He says Pacers are going to sweep. I don't think it's going to happen, Preston.
Quick shout out though to Sun King Brewery for letting us into their beautiful facility in Fishers last week. Big thanks from Dave from the Miller Time Pod for showing up and everyone else. We don't know when our next thing will be. We'll let you guys know.
Maybe
we'll-
some down the road.
Yeah, maybe
Draft,
some down the
who
road.
knows?
We're looking to finish this year out strong. Hopefully, the Pacers pod will, have a few more episodes in its life for the rest of the season. No matter what, we'll do like a season recap, and
Probably
then
draft.
something around the draft for
As long as
sure.
we're in the playoffs, we'll have a show.
Just make sure that you listen to our NBA pod too, which will definitely run through the rest of the season, and then with the draft as well. We'll do like a Pacers draft pod, and then we'll do like an NBA draft.
We'll
pod.
do this long pod, and then the Pacers will trade the draft pick for a player, and then it'll be like, well, that was useless.
surprise me.
for another Nets
Wouldn't
player.
surprise me.
Yeah.
All right, I think that does it for this week. Watch the Pacers tomorrow, 3 p.m. ABC. We're excited here. Some of us are.
I'm
some
excited.
of us are not.
I'm excited. I mean, I'll just be a realist. I mean, I honestly, to be honest, on how other people are, if it's like the NCAA tournament, if it's like the NBA playoffs, I cannot watch the game on TV. I get too nervous.
Really?
I have to be at the game. If I'm at the game, I'm fine. But if I'm watching on TV, I'm like dying. Radio is worse.
I may have won.
Radio is. I completely agree there. Listening to Boyle because he's
gosh.
so good at it. I feel like I can
get-
see it in my brain. Oh, he's so good.
hate it.
He's too good.
My wife hates it. She's like, well, how can you listen to that? I'm like, Boyle paints the picture. Like, I feel like I'm
He
there,
is
and I
so
get super
good.
nervous listening to Boyle, but I
Yeah.
love listening to Boyle. I normally mute it and turn it off.
He's so good.
Sorry,
I
Quinn.
can't. I get too nervous. I can't handle it. So.
All right.
I
Well,
hear you. I hear you.
Ross, where can they find us?
yeah.
They can go to Twitter, they can go to Instagram, and they can go to Facebook if we have updated Facebook.
Yeah.
That's the one we. I know we got.
Twitter,
At
Instagram
Corner
for
Three
sure.
Show.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play. Obviously, you're watching this. It's on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. And I don't know. Email us at thecorner3show@gmail.com if you have anything to you
Send
wanna
in
get
a
on
video
there.
question. We've had one.
Yeah.
Let's have another.
That was my bad. I forgot to tweet that out this week for a video question.
Oh,
so,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Gosh, Zach.
I know. I'm
All
terrible.
right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time, hopefully.
Pacers win.